Ancient Punjab was the primary geographical extent of the Indus Valley civilization, which was notable for advanced technologies and amenities that the people of the region had used. During the Vedic period, Punjab was referred as Sapta Sindhu, or the land of 7 rivers. In ancient Punjab, there were Trgarta-Sasthas, a federation of 6 tribal units in Trigarta, and Trikah Salankayanah composed of 3 sections. Even the Yaudheyas are known to have had 3 sections. So had the Nabhas, who are described as the Nabhi-tina and Nabha-pankti. The Asokan edicts. Different phases of Janapada history. 4 distinct phases are noticeable in the history of the Republican Punjab. The first covers the 5th century BC. The tribal map of this period can be reconstructed on the evidence recorded by Panini in his Astadhyayi and Ganapatha. Panini's evidence is supplemented by Patanjali in his Mahabhasya and by Vamana and Jayaditya in their joint work the Kasikavrti. These Scholiasts flourished a few centuries later, but they record many a stock example which had come down through oral tradition from the days of Panini. The second epoch pertains to the 4th century BC. It came to an end with Alexander's invasion of western Punjab. The latter's itinerary, as preserved by Greek historians, provides detailed information about numerous republican states that fought Alexander. The third epoch coincides with the Maurya Sunga rule, during which the northern tribes enjoyed the least measure of autonomy. Kautilya's Arthashastra gives us some idea of the policies adopted by Chandragupta and Bindusara towards the republican Samgas. The Digvijaya Parvan of the Mahabharata records presumably the early Maurya campaigns against these states. Otherwise, the perspective of the Mahabharata generally, and of the Puranas and the Buddhist literature, is of a past age. Asokan edicts bring us down almost to the times when the Indo-Greek hordes began to pour down the Afghan passes and gradually established their hegemony over western Afghanistan and Sindh. The fourth and final phase of the history of the Punjab tribes began with the decline of the Sunga rule in the 1st century BC. In the early years of this century, the East Punjab tribes sprang into fresh activity. They began to mint coins of high artistic quality. These are found scattered all over the country, from the Ravi to the Yamuna river. They are found in Rajasthan also, e.g. at Jaipur and Nagari near Chittor, indicating the direction of tribal movement. With the beginning of the Christian era, most of the tribes pass into oblivion. Only the important ones are heard of again in the 4th century AD in the Allahabad Prashasti of Samudragupta. But by this time they are no longer found living in the Punjab. The successive invasions during the interval of the Indo-Greeks, the Sakas, the Parthians and the Kusanas had driven them towards Jaipur and Mewar, where the discovery of their coins gives us the route they followed in the course of migration to southern Rajasthan and Malwa. It must, however, be stated that this migration affected relatively small sections of the Punjab tribes that refused to live under foreign rule. Some of the caste names in the Punjab of today are traceable to the ancient tribes evidently. The bulk of the tribal society did not forsake their hearths and homes even when the glorious age of self-rule came to an end. Phasai 1st century BC. In ancient literature, the same term signified the country and the people. Panini recognized this fact. Occasionally this position changed as the tribe moved out, but the name conferred by it to the areas remained in use. Of the large number of Janapadas of Panini, as many as 35 are